Hi everybody, part 2 of the gastro bypass. I do apologize, I have to backtrack a little bit because I forgot to tell you, before the bypass, I ended up having to go for a sleep apnea test. I'm not sure if all of you know what that is. Sleep apnea is basically when you stop breathing while you're sleeping. I was on the very high end of this. I stopped breathing a lot. They were very nervous. It has a lot to do with your weight and the way that you sleep. It basically closes off your throat and you just stop breathing. So I got put on a CPAP machine to help me breathe at night when I was sleeping. But I'm mentioning it because it's actually one of the pros of getting the surgery done. Once you start losing weight, that can disappear. It can go away, which it did, but I'll talk about that more. I am going to say, if you are thinking about having the gastro bypass done, really do your research. Really get the literature on it. Research the doctors that do it. There are big pros and cons to it. It is a huge deal. They are actually going in there. They are making your stomach smaller. They are readjusting your small intestines. You don't process things the same as you used to. So there's a lot of information that goes into it. Even after having it done, I still don't understand all of it. So if you are thinking about getting this done, sure, contact me. I will talk to you as much as I know. But I'm not a doctor. I just do your homework. Do your homework if you are thinking about doing this procedure. Okay, so that being said, November 10th of 2010 was my surgery date. I went into the hospital, got all prepped, got it done. Surgery went very well. I believe it took about 3 hours, maybe a little less. I don't remember. I was sleeping. I had it done laparoscopically. So they usually do like 4 incisions. I actually only have 4. Did I say 4 or 5? They usually do 5. Sorry, losing my head here. They usually do 5 incisions. I only have 4. Tiny little itty bitty little things. They go in with these like claw things, and that's their hands. They use that inside of you. So they cut down my stomach a lot. They readjust or reconnect, I believe, your intestines, and it bypasses some of your intestines. So, anywho, again, not a doctor, don't know the exact terminology or anything of that, but it was done. They got it done. I was in the hospital for, I think it was 3 days. I believe it was 3 days. When I woke up from the anesthetic, my stomach was not in pain. The worst pain was I actually felt sore across the chest and in my shoulders. Couldn't really explain this, so I asked. They actually use a gas inside of you. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if it's to see things clearer or what, but the gas actually travels up, and that's why I was a little bit in pain from the pressure across my upper chest. So they gave me a little higher strength painkiller, but they want you up and walking as soon as possible. So I did that. I was up and walking down the hall within hours of me waking up from the surgery. That actually helped move the gas around, so it didn't last very long. The pain that I was in, but my stomach really wasn't in not really much pain with my tummy. It I'm not gonna say it was a simple surgery because no surgery is simple. Uh, it it was still difficult. You had to move slow, stuff like that. But I was doing okay. I was handling it. Um, I was excited to see the changes that were about to happen. With the surgery, there are different stages of eating that you have to go through for the first week or so. Guess what, guys? Fluids. That's it. Living on fluids. Uh, Protein shakes, Jello, broth, things like that. Not a fun time, but it was all good. Then you went through to a stage that you soft foods or pureed foods. Blech. No, it was gross. I don't think I pureed anything. They were like, oh, you can take turkey and gravy and blend it up in your blood. Yeah, it didn't happen. But you could start having like mashed potatoes and, stuff like that. Very soft foods that just kind of slid down. Eventually, it took a while, but eventually you could start eating solids. You couldn't have roughage like salads and stuff like that for quite a while, but you could start doing like hamburgers and like ground chicken and stuff like that. So it was a long process. It was a very long process of getting back to where you could eat normally, not normally, because you did not want to get back to where you were. You didn't want to eat the way you were, but you could get back eating some solid foods and stuff like that. But it was a long hike. I probably snapped at a few people because it was hard, but I knew what the results were going to be. I knew that I had to do this, so I did it. Started adding in some exercise. Really, the first few months, I didn't do much exercise, but the weight was coming off, which was encouraging. I did have a list at one time, month by month, of what I was taking off. I don't know where that list has turned up, but I was probably losing about 25, 30 pounds a month from the bypass. You had to take a lot of supplements because of the way that they do the surgery. Your body does not absorb like it used to. It had something to do with the intestines and going in different directions. I don't know. So I was on supplements, iron, vitamin D, biotin, B12, which would be almost the same thing as biotin. A lot of different things because your body just was not absorbing as much as it used to. I'm still on them. It's been 8 years, and I'm still on the supplements, on the iron and the B12 and vitamin D and all of that wonderful things. But it's just a pill. It's not a big deal. There is a thing called dumping syndrome. To this day, I will still get it. Not fun. If you have too much sugar, you are allowed some sugar. You are allowed, I believe it was like 5 grams per meal, I believe. That includes natural sugar from like your fruits. 5 grams, guys. Not that much. It's very, very minuscule. It's not much at all. I'm telling you right now, couldn't have a Reese's peanut butter cup. Those are my downfall. Bad. Very bad. So, anywho, yeah, it was a lot of retraining your system, um, and just following your plan, your diet plan, and trying to keep on track. The exercise did start coming in. I was walking a little bit more. I think some of that is because I had more energy. I was dropping the weight and I had a lot of energy. Um, I could tell the physical changes. If you go back to my first video and look at some of the pictures, it's pretty cool how things changed, how you could start seeing just in your face and your tummy, and how things started fitting nicer. When I started this whole thing, I was actually wearing a size 32 pant and usually a 4 to 5, maybe sometimes even a 6X top, to get down, not totally down to where I could shop in just the regular clothing areas, but I was down. I was into maybe 3X's, 2X's. I was starting to wear size 26, 28s. So I was going down in that matter, and it was a good feeling. It was a really good feeling, and encouraged me to do even more. So it worked. It was working. It was doing what I wanted it to do. Sleep apnea, out the door, take a hike, went bye-bye. Yeah, lost the weight, didn't have to deal with that. One of the cons, rapid weight loss does unfortunately make you lose hair. My hair had always been fine, but I had a lot of it, so you couldn't really tell that it was fine. But yeah, the bypass kind of made that a little worse. Lost some hair. Every time I brushed, it clumps, not clumps, but just you could see it falling out. You can see my part here is very, very thin. Vitamin B12 does help with that. I'm actually on vitamin B12 shots that I take every month. It goes right into my bloodstream. That helps quite a bit. So do your homework, guys. If you're interested in doing this, do your homework. But for me, in my case, it was so worth it. So worth it. It changed my life. Okay. More later. Because it changed my life for a while. And then not so much. But we'll cover that next time. Bye. Thanks for listening. Subscribe if you'd like to.